was a spicy Sunday. We had 4 games to kick off the WNBA playoffs. New York did take that 1-0 advantage over Atlanta in a dominant performance. Minnesota is up 1-0 on Phoenix, but we saw a very courageous and feisty Phoenix Mercury team.
They fought back. They fought back.
Diana Taurasi said, I ain't done. The Indiana Fever fell to the Connecticut Sun in Game 1 of that series, and the Seattle Storm, after a very strong start, fell to the Las Vegas Aces, really in a fourth quarter letdown. We'll get to that a little bit later as well. But guys, I want to start out just with your biggest takeaway when you look at the games in Game 1.
Well, I think one of the biggest things is depth and having players available and ready to go, and experienced players available and ready to go. For New York, that was Leonie Fiebich. And I know she started some during the season, but for her to be ready to start in her first playoff game, that's huge. And then for the Aces, Tiffany Hayes coming off the bench and playing big.
And speaking of Leonie Fiebich, I thought it was the GMs of the WNBA because when you look at who made a difference in all 4 games, whether it's Leonie Fiebich, Tiffany Hayes' acquisition was huge for Vegas. She had 20 points off of the bench. Maisha Hines-Allen was important. And
Marina Mabry, she
Marina
balled
Mabry,
out,
27 points
off
the bench.
Come on now.
Big,
Okay,
yes.
but yes, the GMs did a great job assembling talent. There was great talent that has depth, but they say great players make great coaches. Well, great coaches advance in the playoffs. And so there are some major adjustments that are going to need to be made in Game 2 in order to take this to the 3rd round.
Well, speaking of coaching adjustments, when we start with this matchup between Atlanta and New York, maybe a big surprise to everyone, Sandy Brondello takes Courtney Vandersloot out of the starting lineup, inserts the rookie, Leonie Fiebich, who had 21 points, but it feels like her impact was beyond that. Carolyn, what impact did she have on this game?
Well, it looked like to me Atlanta wasn't prepared for the size that New York went with, because when you look at this lineup of the New York Liberty and you put Fiebich in there, yeah, you have Sabrina Ionescu at 5'11", but you've got Lainey Hamilton at 6 foot, Stewie 6'4", Fiebich 6'4". You've got Brianna Stewart at 6'4", and JJ is 6'6". The length that New York was able to come out with really took their defense to another level. New York has been a better defensive team this year, but with that lineup, able to force turnovers. And whenever Ryan Howard looked at a defender, she saw size. Whenever Tina Charles saw the defense rotate to her, she saw size. And that made it very difficult for Atlanta to get into any kind of rotation.
Yeah, you know, it looked like Atlanta was ready for Courtney Vandersloot to start.
Exactly.
And then Fiebich comes in, and it looks like they didn't have a plan on either end of the floor.
Well, they didn't have a plan for Fiebich, and most people may not have even heard of Leonie Fiebich, so we know that we've got a lot of new fans joining there in the playoffs. Let's remind you of exactly who this rookie is. 2020 second-round draft pick by the Sparks, but did not play in the WNBA to this season. She has played 3 seasons in Europe, played 23 games with the German national team. I watched her in the Olympics, a great run there as well. But, Drea, when you look at the impact of Leonie Fiebich, what stands out most to you?
Well, I'll admit, I was one of those people that was like, how impactful can she be coming off the bench? But after the Olympic break, Leonie Fiebich especially has been incredible. And you know what it is? It's her high basketball IQ. Watch her shake up and get up the 3-point line to make herself available for Jonquel Jones. So she's available here, can knock down the shot. And that's a high contest from Ryan Howard. But Leonie Fiebich is 6'4". She can shoot over high contest. Now, if you watch this is a heads-up play. Leonie Fiebich is wide open. She could stay, but instead she cuts. If the defense helps in, Brianna Stewart's going to be wide open for that 3, but the defense doesn't get there in time. So Leonie Fiebich gets the ball. She puts a little English, or should I say German, on the finish because she's from Germany.
Okay,
so we'll give her a little credit. Germany on the little German on the finish, and then a heads-up play here. High basketball IQ. The side is overloaded. You've got 2 guards on one side, so Fiebich is going to cut through, and she's still playing heads-up basketball because she's going to attack this high foot of Tina Charles, get into the paint. Alicia Gray's eyes are turned. That leaves Benijah Laney Hamilton wide open on the weak side, but that's not it. She delivers the ball where it's supposed to be, and then Fiebich keeps moving. She makes herself available and then has the confidence to knock down the shot. Whether it's her cutting, whether it's her moving on the weak side, moving on the strong side, that high basketball IQ from Fiebich makes her fit right in with this Liberty squad.
Well, she's an accurate 3-point shooter, 40% from the 3-point line. Yeah. And again, I remind you, at 6'4", that's a tough matchup for Atlanta.
You know what else is tough? Going into this Liberty system, and you've got superstars around you. I talked to the coaches, and they said at first Fiebich was like, well, Stewie should get that shot, or maybe Sabrina should get that shot. Let me make the one more. And the coaches were like, no, you have to take that shot. And she's figured that out, and now she's confident with it.